Hey, gorgeous. Welcome back. I have some juicy material to work with today. So it was my birthday this week, and the universe gifted me with what I call is I got a porn star for my birthday. So I'm going to talk all about it. It's a vulnerable thing to share my own personal experiences, but it's also a great way to teach from my own experiences and use it as an example. And I have quite a lot of material to share about it from a man's point of, well, for the men and then for women separately, although it's good for you to listen to both, I think. So this is going to be pretty juicy and dramatic and fun, and there's going to be several parts to it. So all right, where do I want to start? Okay, I think the main point I want to make that you'll find interesting is that the man who gives the most orgasms wins. So it doesn't matter how big your wand is. It doesn't matter how good you slam or pound on your woman. You can be like this guy who is like a porn star, like built like one and powerful that way. But the area that he dropped the ball was the pleasure piece. So that's why I'm making a point to teach from the perspective of it's really important for you men to know that it's the man who actually gives her the most orgasms that wins in the end. So that's really important for you to know, because I actually had this discussion with him, partly, not all the way in all that I'm going to share, but we were talking about size and stuff, and they're, according to Kwadoshka, which I'm trained in, it's the Native American Tantra system, which is fascinating, and they have these weekend workshops that you can go to if you want to go as a single or a couple. They teach in medicine wheels, and it's super fascinating. They talk about the different lover types, the different anatomy types of genitalia for men and women. So, porn stars, they're always going to pretty much pick the really hung porn stars. And then it makes the rest of you guys feel inadequate because, they just pick the big penises to be, porn stars pretty much, unless they got some super other skills going on. So, and not everybody likes, I'm going to actually talk about the downside of having a large man. In that way, and what my experience has been, because I realized I've had about 3 of those in my life. And there's pros and cons to everything. And actually my best lovers were average, like nothing really that spectacular about their size, but they knew how to use it, and they had all the other like romantic, connective, intimacy, the pleasuring piece, giving orgasms piece, which by far exceeds a guy who's just, say, built real nice and is really hung, but if he usually tends to be a little bit more lazy as far as his skills. That's just a generalization, but they often feel like, oh, I'm all that and I don't really need to work at this, whereas the guys who are average size tend to exert more. They feel like they need to make up for it maybe, and so they make sure they're really good at pleasuring, and good at the other aspects of like foreplay and whatnot. So you can be super well hung, you can look like a god, you can, in this case, that was what he was. It doesn't really matter if you're not gonna bring me to orgasm, because then I'm just left hanging, and it's like, yeah. I mean, it's nice to be pounded with a lot of power and all that sometimes. And for me in particular, I like a certain amount of size. It's kind of fun because you can feel it more. But honestly, like I said, my best lovers were the ones who brought me to orgasm and gave me the most pleasure. So that's really important to know, because you can have the looks and the size, but geez, if you don't like pleasure her enough or bring her to orgasm and she's just left hanging and like not getting taken care of, and I've been there. I actually left someone who just was not doing that for me at all, and we even talked about it multiple times, and he just couldn't seem to get it. So I just left. I was like, I'm not here just to give you orgasms, I need to get mine too. And it's really important to release women, because we're built in such a way that when you build up that energy, it needs to be released. Otherwise, we can get pretty cranky, and just, it's just not good. Whereas men are actually taught in Tantra to learn how to recycle their energy, to not necessarily come every time, because you do get depleted in that process, and it takes 7 to 10 days to rebuild that. And so you're actually more the ones that are supposed to like hold off and just play and like, learn how to get past your edge and keep going and all that. And whereas if a woman's not released after building up that energy, like that's going to be problematic. So that is the first main point I wanted to make. Please respond with your 2 cents if you'd like to in the comments. I'm always interested to see what you have to say and your experiences, male and female. And I will see you in part 2.